Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Prob. I'm currently top 600 in the world at 7,600 trophies, and I'm also really sick. I've had a fever for the past 3 days, which is kind of annoying because Supercell just dropped a new update. They added the Mighty Miner, they added a bunch of new stuff, they completely revisioned the badge system, and they added like one of my favorite features yet, which is the card mastery. I've always thought they should do something specific to like single cards, but the execution is kind of not the best, let's say. Whatever. What we're actually here to do today for this video is well, yeah, as I said, I'm very sick. I've been since the update dropped, pretty much. That's also why I haven't streamed these past 3 days, and I don't have much to do. I've just been in bed all day, so I decided, why not? Let's just look at all the replays that Supercell will allow me to show, and yeah, comment over them, I guess. So let's do them in order. This first one here is against 4 taps, and he's running SK Xnado Loon Miner. Very, very weird deck. I don't have a good matchup really against this one. I don't really have a good matchup against most Loon X Nado decks in general. SK does make it a little easier because like Mortar is one of the best, let's say, decks at answering the SK, because they have Spear Gobs for all of the Skellies. We have the Knight, in case you guys don't know, completely counters SK if they don't activate the ability, so that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, also one thing that I should say about this game is that I was lagging really bad during it, like upwards of 1 full second between me placing my card and the card actually going down on the field. You can notice it like pretty well here because I tried to put a Skelly Barrel in front of my Musketeer, and whoop, this is when it goes down. Yeah, so not the best timing. I realized like at that point when I dropped that Skelly Barrel that I couldn't go for very tight timings during this game. I had to go for like very loose, just play it 1 second ahead kind of timings. So yeah, let's just go over everything that happened here. So that guy fucked up an Ado. I got a bunch of damage, and then I went for like a pretty awkward defense with just a mortar, and then I cleaned everything up with gang plus log. Overall, a pretty good sequence in my favor. I tried to extend it by going for those spear gobs, but he just zaps them. And yeah, here just try to keep the pressure up. You know that his cannon is not in cycle, but yeah, he still had the NATO. This is one of the reasons why this is such a bad matchup. Yeah, here I actually went for Mortar Musketeer at the bridge without even like waiting for the cannon. But as I said, my Musketeer got placed really late. All the timings in this game were really fucked up. So all I was trying to do actually is just end this game as soon as possible. Like I was trying to be really aggressive, like a lot more than I should be, just so that the game will be over ASAP, because I really don't like playing with lag. Also, I have no idea how I defended here. It was kind of miraculous. I dropped the Goblin Gang, and the Spear Gobs from the Goblin Gang kind of saved my ass, which, I'm actually very happy about that, because everybody keeps telling me, "Hey, Prob, you should switch to guards. Guards are just better than Goblin Gang in every single way." And I'm like, "Can your guards do that? Huh? Can your guards do that, bro? Because my Goblin Gang can. My Goblin Gang can save my ass even here. Look at that. Look at those 2 spear goblins go. Like, yeah, I put a Musketeer as well, but that's beside the point. The Goblin Gang is better than guards. Am I right?" But yeah, no, this guy was actually really bad at the game. He could have nadoed all of those Kellys on his tower there, but he didn't. So yeah, I just get his whole tower in one push, pretty much. Well, in like 2 or 3 pushes, I guess. Point is, his tower is now in log fireball range, so I literally just go for a log, go for a fireball, and that is GG. I was so relieved that it was over, because I couldn't play for another like 2 minutes with like insane lag. You can't really notice from the replay, but I swear to God, man, that was one of my laggiest games ever that I still won. So for the second game here, we're against Josh from Fierce Force. He's actually running SK Graveyard. In case you guys don't know, Well, SK Graveyard is like one of the most meta decks in the game right now. It's gonna be completely dead after the balance changes because they're nerfing the Vault, they're nerfing the Tombstone, they're nerfing the Graveyard. It's like this deck is not gonna be nearly as good after the update. It's gonna be barely usable in my opinion. But as it is right now, it's like one of the strongest decks in the game. But luckily for me, unlike the last matchup, this one is actually in my favor. Josh knows that, and that's why he sighed, I guess, at the start of the game, because he knows that I'm a Mortar one trick, and he knows that this is not a good matchup for him. No, it's not even about the Mortar, it's about Mortar bait. Like, not all Mortar decks have a good matchup against this, but Mortar bait does. Here I actually went for a pretty bad defense. Like, I could have just logged. I could have spent 2 Elixir and that whole push would have been gone. But instead I decided to go Goblin Gang Mortar. I'm like, yeah, 7 Elixir. Way better to spend 7 Elixir than spend 2 Elixir. But whatever. I defend the Valkyrie Knight. I don't think I'm gonna go in here with a Skelly Barrel, but I might. Do I do that? I don't remember. Yeah, no, I don't do that. Going for a Skelly Barrel like that would have been really stupid since he had Tombstone in cycle. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I can actually know exactly what cards are in their hand. I had no idea that the Tombstone was in his hand, probably. Whatever, he goes for a push here, and I defend it pretty well. Against these kind of decks, you have to alternate between your Goblin Gang and your Spear Goblins. You don't have to play them at the same time, of course, otherwise they're gonna arrow all of them. So what you do is you usually play either Spear Gobs or Goblin Gang. You wait for the arrows, and right after the arrows you play the other one, and that makes for pretty good defenses, I guess. I keep going for Scaliburs in the back, which, the one before this, it actually made sense because I was trying to make him spend Elixir when he was attacking. So, like, he had to defend and attack at the same time, so he couldn't spend too much Elixir on the offense. But in this case, it was really stupid. I also went way too aggressive at the bridge there, so yeah, he can basically get like infinite damage on my tower by you know, being at an advantage of about 10 elixir. Like, I just spent so much elixir at the bridge. I gave him so much value there with the Inferno Dragon on my Musketeer and everything. I even tried defending the Musketeer with a Goblin, and I just gave him way too much value. Lucky for me though, since he spent the arrows on offense, he couldn't spend them on defense, so I did get a little bit of damage as well. Well, the situation is pretty much that, like, he got way more damage than me, so I'm at a disadvantage. Like, I can try to find the silver lining there with the arrows, but truth is that was a very bad interaction for me, and I am now like sitting in a pretty tight spot in terms of tower damage. So all I can do here, when you're like playing Mortar Bait, which is a deck that it doesn't really come back a lot, Mortar Bait has to always have the damage lead, otherwise it makes it really hard to combat. So all I can do again is to just attack, to just keep attacking until the tiebreaker, keep attacking until these 2 minutes are over, 1 minute 20 or whatever, and yeah, I just never allow him to build a push. I just keep on pushing, spend all my elixir on offense, and get him stuck into a cycle where he's always trying to not let my mortar lock onto his tower. It's a lot harder to say than to not to say. Sorry, it's a lot harder to do than to say. But as you can see, it's not that complicated. I just keep cycling everything on the tower. It's kind of spammy. That is one of the reasons that people say Mortar Bait is really spammy, but it's not like there's no skill involved. Like, look at this defense. I perfectly spaced everything, and I barely survive here. Yeah, here I actually get super lucky with that log. I I steal the win out of nowhere by just logging those zappies so they can't hit my Skelly Barrel, so it gets on the tower, and I steal a win. I don't know what happened there with the commentary. I was kind of lagging behind. My brain is kind of dead from having a very high fever for 3 days in a row. kind of deliriant right now. I could show you this game against Nadir. It was pretty close, but I think the video is already going to be long enough showing all the wins. So let's get on to the next one against Portugal V2. So this guy is running Lava Clone. If you guys have ever played Mortar Bait, you know that Lava Clone is like a super bad matchup. But if I remember correctly, this guy was BMing the whole time. He was very upset that I was beating him, even though he had like a very big matchup advantage. Here, I just cycle a log at the start. It's a pretty good way to start the game if your opponent is not doing anything. Like usually just leak a little bit of elixir to see if he plays anything. And if he doesn't, then you just cycle a log. And also you just do that if you don't have Skelly Barrel or Spear Gobs in your starting hand. Here I go really aggressive because I realize, after he plays that Scarmy and Flying Machine, there's not many decks in the game with Scarmy and Flying Machine, so I realized that this is uh, Lava Clone, and I go for the Fireball on that Flying Machine, because like against Lava Clone you gotta be really aggressive. You gotta pretty much do the same that I did in the last game, where you keep them defending the whole game, because if you allow them to build a big push, you're dead. Like it's really hard to defend a full on Lava Clone push with Mortar Bait. So here I go for a Excalibur in front of the Musketeer, which means that he has to defend even more. That makes him cycle a Skarmy, which it's pretty good for me. It makes this defense a lot more doable. I go for the Spear Gobs to clean everything up, and I try to go for Knight because I thought that he would go for like a Flying Machine or something. Here he goes for Bats, so that was actually a pretty bad Goblin Gang, because uh, I thought that the Spear Gobs would help me against the Bats, but they didn't. It actually not. You know what? Never mind. Nah, I just said some bullshit. That was actually a pretty good Goblin Game, because even though the Spear Gobs did not snipe the bats, they actually pushed the knight so that they still took the tower. This Musketeer on the counter push would have probably taken the tower anyway, but whatever. That was like a nice sequence. Here I tried to pre-log the Skarmy. It kinda works. It kinda doesn't work. I was like, you know what? Let's try the 3 crown. I gotta be aggressive. Am I right? So yeah, here I try to keep being aggressive. I have 40 more seconds of trying to not let him build a push, but here something really bad happens. I cycle my Musketeer to kill his Flying Machine, and then I waste so much elixir here. So this is gonna be a really hard push to defend. I'm in exactly the situation that I said you shouldn't be against Lava Clone, which is allowing them to build a full Lava Clone push, which is right here. Like, look at this. That is exactly what Lava Clone is made for. You put a lava, you put a scale, you put a baby dragon, you put a lumberjack, you put the bats, you clone everything. That is that is what Lava Clone pushes are made of. But yeah, if you didn't catch how I defended that, rewind it. I'm not sure how I did it either. But yeah, that's how you defend a full lava clone push while also being behind a couple of elixir. I was too busy talking over myself to notice what I did. So yeah, this is just clan war stuff. Nobody wants to see clan war stuff. Here I actually did go for a ladder game, but I blundered it very early on because I did something that I always do. You know what? Let me just show you real quick. I did something that I always do when I don't have a good cycle. I try to cycle to the card, and that just fucks up my cycle even more. So like right here, he had Dark Prince, but I didn't have my Knight in cycle. So I tried to cycle to the Knight instead of trying to defend it without using the Knight, and that just fucks me up so much, and I just lose the entire game because of it. Yeah, because like I lose my tower pretty much immediately, and now I'm in a really bad cycle. And yeah, don't do that, guys. You have to learn how to defend most stuff with most cards in your deck. Because like if you can't, bro, you're just dead. You can get starting handed like I just did. Nah, bro, like I should be able to defend a Dark Prince even if I don't have a Knight in my hand. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, on to the next game. We're against Juancho here. He's running a pretty weird variant of Guard's Logbait. He has a minion horde in it, in fact, and a miner. I wouldn't even know if I want to call this Guard's Logbait. Maybe it's like Guards Worm or something. I don't know. It's just a very weird deck. But yeah, here I didn't know yet that he had a very weird deck. I thought this was just straight up classic Guards Logbait, so I played it as such. I even probably went for a Mortar here, right? That's what I will do against Guards Logbait. You just defend the barrel with a log and then immediately go for a Mortar. That was also a very weirdly placed barrel. So yeah, against most of these logbait decks, you do wanna use as many mortars as possible, and yeah, usually you wanna actually predict the infernos, but here I wasn't really sure anymore that it was guards logbait, so I didn't know if he had like a Tesla or uh, or an inferno, so I would have rather not risked it. Here, yeah, I see the miner, I see the mirror horde. I realize that this is like a much wackier deck, and I I go aggressive immediately with another mortar. I think I logged this because yeah. It would have been stupid not to log it. Like usually against logbait decks, I don't want to log anything except of the goblin barrel, because if you don't keep your log for the goblin barrel, you can just get so much damage on your tower. They can like pre-log when they put the barrel down, and that means that your goblin gang dies, and then they take a like you take a bunch of damage on your tower. It's just awkward to not have your log in hand. But in a situation like that, like you have a mortar on their tower, you have a mortar lock. It would be stupid to let the mortar die. That's what I'm saying. In fact, I just defend the barrel with a fireball, and everything works out well in the end. Yeah, I even predicted the Inferno, but he had login cycles, so it was really stupid. And here I tried to snipe a princess at the bridge, but it didn't really work out. I feel like if I waited like slightly longer, I would have actually got the princess. Like he would have actually placed it at the bridge. I just didn't wait long enough. But yeah, I'm not the kind of person that leaks elixir a lot. So here I go for a musketeer to snipe the princess. I go for a mortar on the right lane and a Excalibur on the left lane. I keep defending against the mortar with the spear gobs and a goblin gang even, I think. And yeah, this is exactly how to beat all these log bait decks. It's the double lane pressure. You gotta be really aggressive with your mortars. You gotta be really aggressive with your Skelly barrels. You gotta do it on opposite lanes, and you gotta always try counter pushing off of anything that they give you. Like just a princess at the bridge, counter push with it. Kill it with a musketeer, and then put a Skelly barrel in front. You know, that is how to win against most log bait decks. Even though this one is like a little weirder, is not that much different playstyle wise. Like all I gotta pay attention to is the minion horde. I gotta be sure that I always have either a fireball or a skelly barrel in my hand, because if I don't, then his minion hordes are gonna be a huge pain in the ass. But as you can see, I did have the skelly barrel for that one. I had the spear gobs here. I make a huge mistake. I placed my mortar one tile to the right, so it wouldn't connect to the tower. But he wasted an inferno anyway, so pretty happy about that. Uh, he goes for a minion horde once again, but my mortar is now on his tower. I get like one shot from it. Go for spear gobs to distract everything, and here he went for one of those famous pre-logs that I said. Since this is a weird variant of log bait, I don't like he doesn't just go for the pre-log with the goblin barrels. He can also go for a minor pre-log, which it kinda just makes goblin gang useless on defense if they can pre-log with it. I do get like a mortar shot though. I don't know if you guys caught that, but the miner was close enough to the tower that the mortar shot kind of clipped it, even though it was aiming for the miner. Go for a log there, and yeah, this is GG. I feel like at this point he kind of gave up. Yeah, like you can't really do anything here. So yeah, that was the game against Juancho. Once again, very questionable commentary here. My vocal cords are kind of killing me. You guys can probably tell. I have the voice of a guy that is currently suffering while talking, right? Like you know that I'm suffering to comment over this. Like talking is just so painful when you're sick. Oh well. The next game here is against iPhone. If we still had the old badge system, you could probably see how big of a deal this guy is, but with the new badge system, you really can't tell. Oh well, six top league season finishes and just one top royal tournament finish. I don't even know how to read this badge system anymore. But yeah, let me donate some cards. We're gonna go on to the next game now. The next game is against iPhone. Yeah, he's running Graveyard Freeze. I think this is the classic variant of Graveyard Freeze. There's not really anything wacky going on here. Just good old Graveyard Freeze. With the Bowler, with the Double Dragon, with the Valk and the Nado. You know, everybody these days is running Graveyard Freeze with Zappies or like the SK Graveyard. There's people that run Graveyard Freeze with SK Graveyard. This this original variant is not really that run anymore. But yeah, I noticed immediately that it's a graveyard deck because what else would have these cards? Am I right? And I decide to just fireball the Ice Wiz because against these graveyard decks, especially graveyard threes, you always have to fireball the Ice Wizards. It's just value, man. It's like if you don't take that, you're not taking free damage, and getting damage in this matchup is very hard. So yeah, he activates King Tower really soon. It was kind of bad of me to go for that Skelly Barrel because I knew that he had Nado. I shouldn't have just gone for a naked Skelly Barrel like that. So here I'm in a very awkward spot. I I don't have a good cycle. I try to block the Baby Dragon at the bridge there, but he immediately goes for that freeze. I go for the Goblin Gang a little late, so I do get a little bit of damage on my tower. But he's fine. I survived. It's not a good situation by any stretch. His King Tower is activated. He has the damage lead, but it's still doable. Like I'm not behind enough that I'm like sweating right now. I'm like, ooh, you know. Try to go for a mortar here. I get a shot on his tower, but that's about it. Here I try to go for a Skelly Barrel to both defend and attack at the same time. It usually works pretty well. He goes for an Ice Whiz, so I log it. If you log it, then the Skellies are gonna kill it. Usually, or like leave him low enough on HP that he doesn't get a shot on the tower. So I'm gonna cycle a Knight in the back. He goes for a bowler, and as soon as I see the bowler, I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. I gotta go opposite immediately, otherwise he's gonna build a huge push and I'm dead. So I go like super aggressive. I go like super, super, super aggressive at the bridge, but it doesn't matter. He's still building that huge push. And to be fair, it was also my fault. I didn't like stack stuff too well, but he did force out some elixir on his part, so he couldn't just go for everything on my tower. He did go for still quite a bit of stuff. I tried to defend with whatever I got here. I tried to use the mask and everything, but he still gets so much damage on my tower. It's kind of insane. So I'm at about 500 damage behind. This is not like a bad matchup by any stretch. It's not like a super good matchup either. I'd say it's like 55, 45 uh, on my side. He does like waste a lot of HP on his tower there just to try to build a bigger push. So what I try to do here is I try to attack, but at the same time I block everything at the bridge and I fireball everything. By doing that, I'm making sure that if he goes in, if he uses all of his elixir on offense, then he can't defend the mortar and I just win. Even though I can't defend his whole push, before I lose, he loses, you know? And if he doesn't go all in, like he did, then I just defend his whole push, you know? Here, I tried to do the same thing again, but him not going in here was actually really bad because I didn't have a mortar opposite lane to apply pressure. So I just get really lucky here that the bowler retargets onto my mortar, and that allows me to defend anyway, despite the blunder. Him not going in was actually very risky for me. At this point, I'm kind of done with waiting, so I just start cycling spells on his tower. I I try to defend as cheaply as possible, and I go for a fireball. I go for a log, and I realize, wait, oh wait, no, no, okay, I don't go for a log. Okay, okay, okay. I misremembered this. I thought I went for a log, and then I realized, oh wait, that's not enough. But I think that is in another one of the games. Oh well, I barely defend. I cycle for another fireball and GG. I really thought I fucked up the log there, but in reality, if I did cycle my log and realized later that it wasn't enough damage, I would have probably just lost right then and there. All right. So the next game is against Allison here. Wait, give me a second. All right. Sorry about that. I'm really sick. I just had to blow my nose. All right. Next game here is against Allison. He's running giant graveyard, but a pretty weird variant of it with a fisherman in it. We're gonna see this game. If I remember correctly, this is like a really close game. I feel like this is the one where I went for the log and then I was like, oh wait, that's not enough. But yeah, I think I win by something very small, like 50 HP or something. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a Skelly Barrel first play. He goes for minions, and he probably thought like, I have three free elixir on the board, so I might as well go in. So he goes like all in here, and that was pretty stupid because now I'm the one that can go for like a huge counter push, and he has no elixir. He kind of got unlucky with the fact that he didn't get any damage at all on my tower with his graveyard, but graveyard players usually do get pretty lucky. Like right here, yeah, right here he fireballs my musketeer and he also gets my goblin gang, which I just placed down so the fisherman wouldn't kill my musket. So that was pretty lucky. I do get a mortar shot off on his tower, so you know what? We're both getting lucky. I'm getting lucky. He's getting lucky. Everybody's getting lucky. I think I go for another Excalibur here, which is very stupid because I already saw before, bro. Like, he just defends it with the minions, and then you basically gave him 3 elixir for free. You just gave him 3 minions. I do get like 1 Skelly shot. So you could argue that me giving him 3 free elixir was just an excuse so I could get 1 Skelly shot on his tower. It was worth it, you see, it was calculated. Here I actually go for a Mortar. Against these decks, just like Giant Double Prints, you want to be really aggressive. Here was too aggressive though. Like I went for that Fireball to try to connect my Mortar onto his tower, because Fireball plus 1 Mortar shot actually kills the Fisherman, but as you saw, the timing didn't work out at all there. My Mortar still connected to his Giant instead of the tower. Just really dumb in general, and as a result, I had a very awkward defense to do here. It did work out pretty well, like not too well, but I did at least get a counter push off of it. So you know, I came up on top from that interaction, even though it definitely wasn't calculated at all. I go for Excalibur on the back there, and I cycle a knight onto the same lane of the giant. I'm trying to just make him waste elixir on the right while building up the biggest defense I can on the left. I do give him a lot of fireball value there, which is really stupid, and I try to save my musketeer from that bat, but it doesn't really work. So once again, really awkward defense. This doesn't work out super well. Uh, Spear Gobs are the MVP in these kind of matchups, though, because they're just so good against the bats, against the Scallies. But as you can see, like I'm in a very bad spot here. I'm like he has like a full giant, and he's pretty much controlling the whole field right now. Like, he's the one that is dictating what I do, not the other way around. He's trying to get me stuck on defense, but I know that if I get stuck on defense, I lose. So I'm trying to keep things at the bridge. I can't let him go in with like even a single graveyard, but as a result, he just keeps building up his next push. He never fully goes in, you see, because like if he went in and I have everything at the bridge, I just defend the graveyard very easily, nothing crosses over, and now I am the one in control. But since he's not going in at all, he's not allowing me to do that. He goes in now that I have nothing at the bridge, so very good player. Like Allison is playing really nicely. I thought he would arrow the spear gobs, but he doesn't. He actually waits for my goblin gang. So overall, this guy is playing like super tight. He's not allowing me to get control. He's trying, like he's making me stuck on defense. He's not even trying. He's straight up succeeding in not allowing me to push like ever. And at the same time, he still finds the time to make a push of his own. He still finds the time to sneak a graveyard in exactly the right moment. Overall, like a really good player. I got a little lucky here that my musketeer survived, but I don't really get a lot of value out of it. I just get one shot on this giant. Here my musketeer almost went away the opposite lane, but luckily the fisherman just caught it in time, giving me one shot more. Here I fireball, yeah, I definitely fireball the night witch. I gotta get damage on his tower in one way or another. And yeah, here I would have probably died if I didn't cycle to fireball. So all the stars aligned. I got the fireball down in time, and yeah, it was exactly 50 HP. I didn't remember correctly. So yeah, that was a very tight game. I would have definitely lost in that push if I didn't get as much damage as I did. And yeah, very very good player. Let me check Allison's profile. Oh yeah, yeah, he did, bro. I beat him, and he's still higher than me. Wow, what a guy. So yeah, next one is Legione Fizzo. That is also the last game. I've been talking for 3 hours. I'm so dead, bro. Don't record. You know what, guys? If you do have a YouTube channel like a Clash Royale or something, and you wanna record the video and you wanna talk in that video, just take a tip from me. Don't do it when you're really sick because it's gonna be painful to talk, man. It's gonna be so straining on your vocal cords. I hate myself so much for doing this right now. Oh well. So this last game against Legione Fizzo is against the giant double prince triple spell. In case you guys don't know, giant double prince is like very popular archetype. There's this guy called Kamikaze that makes great videos about it. If I were you, I would go check out his channel if you play this deck. But this is not like the classic Giant Double Prince. This is a Giant Double Prince triple spell, which is a variant without the Miner and without the Ewiz, with 3 spells instead, which is very annoying for my deck. This is definitely a worse matchup than the classic one. As you can see there, I got really unlucky because he fireballed both my Musketeer and my Goblin Gang. That was just like annoying. And I got also lucky immediately after because he didn't zap my spear gobs. I don't know why he didn't do that. Maybe he just didn't have enough elixir for it. But if he'd zapped those spear gobs, man, I would have taken most of my tower. So yeah, as I said before, against these kind of decks, against all of those giant counter push kind of decks, so giant graveyard, giant double prince, you wanna not defend. Because if you defend, you're gonna have to pull off very awkward defenses like this. Like this defense right here, if I didn't have that Excalibur plus log plus fireball, I don't think it would have been possible to defend that at all. Luckily though, I pull it through, and here I try to readjust so that I'm the one attacking, because as long as I'm the one defending, like right here, he knows it. Like the reason he's pushing with this Dark Prince, instead of just letting the Dark Prince go, he puts minions with it, because like he wants me to spend elixir on defense. He knows that if I control the field by putting my mortars down and making him defend, then I'm gonna win. So just whoever defends is the one that loses. And that's why I cycle my Musketeer first, because I want to cycle to my next Musketeer really soon. But then I immediately go for a Mortar at the bridge. I want him to defend, not the other way around. And yeah, since I cycled my Musketeer first, now I already have it back. This is what I call mask stacking, and it's very, very useful in matchups like this. As you can see, since now I'm the one attacking, I get a lot of damage on his side, and now I'm fully in control. I don't have a lot of elixir, so here I'm gonna have to fall back. Like in this kind of situation, you either just overextend and try to take his tower, uh, or you just fall back on defense. Falling back on defense is really risky, because if I can't get control back, I'm gonna have to stay on defense for the rest of the game, and I'm probably gonna have to win with the tiebreaker. But luckily, he doesn't do that. He just falls back on defense as I do it, and that means that I can now just get his tower by literally just, I don't know, cycling a couple of spells. Oh yeah, you know what? I think this was the game where I miscalculated the log. Yeah, because here I go for a fireball log, I think. Yeah, and it's not enough. It's not enough. So here I have to cycle to another fireball, but I mean, it wasn't that close. It wasn't that close. Still though, don't miscalculate your fireballs and logs, guys. There I should have just cycled log and another log, and then a fireball instead of 2 fireballs and 1 log. Oh well, that was it. Those were all the games. We went over like a bunch of games today, like one, two, three, four. That is like five, 6 games, 7 games, bro. Bro, I spoiled you guys. I gave you 7 games with commentary, even though I'm sick as fuck. You know what? The least you could do is to hit that follow button if you haven't already, and whatever the YouTubers say, like smash that like button, share with your grandma, whatever. Man, these badges are so ugly.